This is problem 4, chapter 4, problem 3B. It's on page 173 in your book if you want to follow along. I'm going to use this problem to explain to you how to put together a 10-column worksheet. A 10-column worksheet is a working tool to do what-if analysis, to do interim reports that you don't want to do, the whole journal entries and all of your adjusting entries in the journal. You just want to get an idea of where the company is at a certain point in time. This problem has you do it at the end of the fiscal year, which they tell you is April 30th, and it could be done at that time as well. It can be done at any time that the company wants to do one. The first part I've plugged in for you in Excel so you can just follow along. This is all right from your book. It's given to you. All of the information in the unadjusted trial balance. Now we've done these since chapter 2 where you just plugged in your debits and your credits and you made sure that your debit and credit columns were equal. What you're going to do with the adjustments is just plug them into these two columns in this adjustment section of the worksheet. I've put a little gray line between them so that it's a little bit easier for you to see what you're doing here. And I get a little mouse happy, so just be patient with me. Okay. The problem says prepare and complete a 10-column worksheet for fiscal year 2013 starting with the unadjusted trial balance and including adjustments based on these additional facts. The first one says supplies available at the end of fiscal year 2013 had a cost of $7,900. So remember when we did supplies, when we adjusted supplies, we debited supplies expense for the amount will be $8,100. It's the difference between what you have in supplies, $1,600, and the $7,900. So when I'm going to plug $8,100 in there, and in this column I'm going to put A, so that you can follow along when you do these. You will have 2 A's, 2 B's, credit supplies, $8,100. Let's make it pretty and make it give it a dollar sign. Oops. Sometimes I just like to play with Excel. B, cost of expired insurance for the fiscal year is $10,600. So again, we went to insurance expense, which is down here, in your debit column, $10,600, because it tells you that's the cost of what expired. And then that was B. Under prepaid insurance, in that column, you're going to put, in that row, a credit of $10,600. We're using up $10,600. That's what's expired. C, annual depreciation on the equipment is $7,000. What do we do with that? Depreciation expense equipment. Again, C, expense is $7,000. Other side of that is accumulated depreciation. Credit $7,000. D, April utilities expense of $800 is not included in the unadjusted trial balance because the bill arrived after the trial balance was prepared. The $800 amount owed needs to be recorded. Utilities expense is down here. D, debit utilities expense, $800. We're going to credit accounts payable for this one. It would be possible that the company would have a utilities payable, but since they don't give it to you, just put it in accounts payable. Call it a day. E, company's employees have earned $2,000 of accrued wages at fiscal year end. So where are we going to put those? Wages expense, $2,000. Wages payable, $2,000. Rent expense incurred and not yet paid or recorded at fiscal year end is $3,000. This is F, so we're going to go here and we're going to try to get it in the right column. Rent expense, $3,000. Rent payable, $3,000. G, additional property taxes of $550 have been assessed for this fiscal year but have not been paid or recorded in the account. So that would be property taxes expense of $550. Property taxes payable, credit, $550. H, they give you a lot more information than you really need. They tell you the long-term note payable bears interest at 12% a year. Unadjusted interest expense account equals the amount paid for the first 11 months of the 2013 fiscal year. $300 accrued interest for April has not yet been paid or recorded. Note that the company is required to make a $10,000 payment toward the note payable during the 2014 fiscal year. We would need that information for the statement of cash flows. We don't need it right now. What we need is the $300 accrued interest. That's going to go under interest expense. Another $300 being added to it, and then interest payable, correct? Of $300. Now, if we did this correctly, and hopefully we did, let's make this one pretty too. Give it a $sign. We should be able to, I've already done the formula, so we should be able to just bring it across, and we're happy. We have $32,350 for both columns. That's your adjustments. That's the second two. This is column 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A 10 column worksheet. The adjusted trial balance then you're going to do in these two columns. Your cash amount is $7,000. If nothing happened to an account in this adjustment column, you just bring the amount over. So $7,000 is your debit there. In this one, supplies was $16. They've been reduced by $81, so supplies should be $7,900. Exactly what it told you was left. Prepaid insurance was debited $12,600 balance. We credited $10,600, so the balance should be a debit of $2,000. Equipment, just like cash, nothing happened, so just bring it over. $200,000. No zeros. Accumulated depreciation had a credit balance of $14,000. We added another credit of $7,000, so that makes it $21,000. Not $210,000, $21,000. And we'll make that one pretty too. Oops. Accounts payable. Credit balance of $68,000. Another credit of $800 gives us $76,000. Interest payable had 0 balance, now has $300. Rent payable has a balance of $3,000. Wages payable had 0, added 2. Property taxes payable had 0, added 5. Make sure you remember which column you're in, the debit or the credit, or your balance won't work. I just played with that for a minute myself. Long-term notes payable didn't change, $30,000. This is the capital account, didn't change, $86,900. Now, a lot of companies, most companies would do this in some sort of software. You can do it in Excel. You could set it up so it would do a lot of this work for you. As just a demo problem, I decided not to go through all of that. Depreciation expense became $7,000. I wanted to put that on the wrong side, and I stopped myself. Wages expense was $41,400. We added 2, so it's now $43,400. Excuse me. Interest expense went from $33,000. We added $300. So it's now $36,000. Insurance expense was 0. We debited $10,600. Rent expense $13,200. Added 3 becomes $16,200. Supplies expense $8,100. Property tax expense 97 plus 55 equals $10,200.